Well, guys, I apologize for being late. I am here. I am here. Everything, if you can imagine just about every problem that could go wrong this morning, this is it. So I am out here at the Morgan Monroe State Forest. I was ready to go, and for some reason my internet wouldn't connect. That was the first problem I had to go through. And I do apologize for being late. This is not, and I don't heck I don't even know if I'm coming through right now. Hopefully, let's see if I can at least get the comments um, in here. Let's see if I can at least do that. Hey, good morning, Rick. So everything was good to go, and so when I left home, everything was good to go. When I left home, I get over here and I can't connect to the internet on my phone. I get that cleared up, and then I can't hotspot um, through my phone, and that's what I was fighting for the last I don't know 10 minutes trying to get that done. So everything has been rebooted at least twice now, and we still can't hotspot through my phone. So then it was like, all right, well let's get at least on here and let people know that I'm still here. And now I'm on my iPhone, and I'm trying to use the Restream Studio through it, which isn't difficult except for it. It wanted to format itself for the phone in portrait mode, and I'm a landscape kind of guy, and so I had to reconfigure it so it would work with landscape. But I hit the go button and I don't hear any music, and I'm like, what the? But then I realized I use a set of DJI mics, and on my phone I have to have a little receiver plugged into the uh, lightning port on the bottom side of the iPhone, a lightning, or in the newer phones USB-C, or you're using an Android phone USB-C, and that, because it's in there, automatically blanks out the headphones. So now I couldn't hear anything, which is great. I don't have any guests on here, so it's not like it's a big deal. But like the intro music and everything like that, I couldn't hear. So today will be an abbreviated live stream. Obviously, I don't have the facilities to be able to do on air stuff right now. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to it. I have been out in California this past week, going to a conference in San Diego, which was wonderful, by the way. I think is that Jody? Jody, good morning, Jody. And I know Jody was up with the ham radio crash course after chat. Although I think he's on Mountain Time or something, so it wasn't as late for him. But it was well after 1 in the morning, um, which has kind of been interesting for me. This last week, I've been in San Diego, which is on Pacific time. I've been going to all day long conference, and then generally there's usually some vendor event, dinner every night that week. So I was getting back to the hotel room 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then needing to wind down. So I was going to bed on California time. The unfortunate problem is my body never, sorry, car's going by, never bought my body never really adjusted to California time. So I was going to bed on California time, but I was waking up on Indiana time. So I was literally waking up at 4 in the morning. Um, Jody says he's on mountain time. So yeah, so he's an hour ahead of there. Good morning, Jimmy. So doing this in landscape mode, I get literally see one chat thing at a time here. So um but yeah, I was going to bed and waking up on Indiana time, which is Eastern time. So I was literally 4 to 4:30 a.m. local. I was boom wide awake. No getting past that one. So I was getting about 3.5 hours of sleep. So you know, that's okay. I was in the Navy, right? Oh, looks like I lost my internet there for a second. Yeah, I mean it was okay. I was in the Navy. I'm so used to that stuff. And so speaking of the Navy, San Diego is where I was at. That was actually where I was stationed when I was in the Navy, and that was fun to be able to get in here and see that. I'm, I'm actually tearing my stuff down here since I don't need it anymore. It was fun to see San Diego again. That's kind of I was home ported there in my last duty station for 3 years, so I was able to get out and get back into some of my old haunts. If you'd watch my social media, I don't normally post a lot when I'm out at work things. These two paths don't normally cross. But when I was there, going back out and seeing some of the fun stuff. Um, um, Man, I'm like a squirrel. But yeah, going out and being able to see some of the fun stuff, some of the old places. But I also rented a vehicle, and so if you guys don't know, I'm a Bronco guy. Love the Bronco. I've had one since Ford re-released them in 2021. So I asked for some kind of an SUV because I wanted to get out and do some parks on the air, and we did. We did go do some POTA. Um, there's a whole long story behind that. That's a different story. Uh, I missed a whole day thanks to my carrier, my airline carrier of choice, which is probably not going to be my airline carrier of choice anymore. Um, but we did get Sunday, and went to a couple went to one state wildlife area, and wanted to get away from the beach and everything. I wasn't sure what that was going to be like, so we went east and went out in towards the mountains and everything. So we went to one wildlife area and got set up in there, and that was good, except for the parking area. The parking area was right on the edge of um, a neighborhood, and but it was up the side of a mountain or foothill or whatever you want to call it. And right there on the corner was a kennel, and there were multiple dogs out that were yippy yappy all throughout that. So I tried recording one. I wanted to get some video out there. Beautiful, beautiful backdrop and everything like that. But and I'm sorry for rambling here. It's kind of the stream of conscious. I don't have something in front of me to do that. But we got out there and did the activation. I was running 10 watts with the IC 705. Um, East Coast is um, I was on 20 meters, so wasn't hearing a whole lot of East Coast stations at the time. This was still pretty early in the morning. It was like 7 a.m. So the local on 20 meter wasn't getting much in the central and in western United States that early in the morning. So I did switch over to FT8, which was good. I could not find my cable. Um, I have a USB-C to USB micro or whatever the IC 705 has to run uh, FT8 right off my uh, tablet. Sorry, lost it there for a second. A little Android tablet. So it had to reconfigure and do network connectivity on the fly um, with that, which took a few minutes, but got it done and was able to activate that, and then finally got that part done. The yippee yappy dogs and everything. We did some. I was there with a coworker, so introduced him to amateur radio. Did some recording of that, but I don't know how that's gonna to I don't know how that's gonna look. I haven't looked at the footage yet, but it was just basically walking him through what I was doing. Went went back on the trail for a little bit and checked that out. So it was a nice area, and then we headed in a little bit further east, higher up in the mountains, and I think it was Cleveland. Cleveland comes to mind, but I don't know if it was something along those lines. Something with a Clee, but it was a national forest that was a little bit further east. They're in. I think we were still in San Diego County, but out on the eight. And I don't know if you guys, anybody from California knows I said the eight. Um, but went further out there and got to a trailhead, and it was an off-roading trailhead, which was kind of tempting. Um, Back to what I was saying, I had a Bronco. I have a Bronco. Uh, I got a rental Jeep. It was a Sierra, and it had street tires on it, but it was a Jeep with four-wheel drive. And I was half tempted to take it back there. They didn't say that you couldn't take it off road, and I don't recall seeing that in the contract anywhere. But it had street tires on it, and I wasn't sure what the trail was like, and I didn't know how comfortable I'd be on the trail because although I could rent the Jeep, they would not rent the little ducks for me to put up on the dash. So I I wasn't sure if it would make it back there, to be honest. I mean, especially without the ducks. Um, so if you guys are Jeepers, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a Jeeper, they like to put bath toys up on their dash for some reason. They like to do that. So um, oh yeah, happy Father's Day, everybody. Um, I got my kids coming. Julie, good morning, and Jimmy, happy Father's Day. What's Kyle saying here? Yeah, Kyle, it was good to get you in the log. I think Kyle's maybe out camping or something this week. It sounded like he was down in North Carolina, but 2 mornings, 2 days in a row. I was sitting there, and Kyle came up on my ham alert, and it was pretty early for me, but I was able to remote into my Flex radio back here in Indiana, and was able to make a contact with Kyle on 40, and that was a little rough, but we got it in the log. And the next day he was back. Next morning he was back on. Um, I heard him. I saw him on 40, and I figured it was close enough 40 to be okay. And I could barely hear him, but he had just a few minutes later switched over to 20 meters and clear as a bell. So I was able to make two contacts with Kyle. Um, Technically not coast to coast. It would have been nice to be able to do it directly from California, but we were there, got it done, and was able to go. So once again, guys, if you're just getting in here, um, had some technical difficulties this morning and not able to stream through my laptop through my hotspot. So um, too close for messless switch to guns, I think, is the thing today. And was able to at least get up here and get. Although I was a few minutes late, I do apologize for that. At least get in here and talk and keep the show going forward, and hopefully next week be able to be back out here. Um, Aaron, you're absolutely right. Remote operation is great. Um, Flex has kind of perfected that, and they have a program called SmartLink where, for the most part, I know some people are having some issues with the carrier grade NAT, CG NAT, and getting connected, but there's workarounds that they're coming out for that. Um, I use a product that allows me to directly link to my network at home from my phone or my laptop, and I bypass that. And I get basically put right on the network with my Flex and able to control it. I use the um, Mac iOS version of the Smart SDR software, which is, it's got its ups and its downs, like everything. I think it works better than um, the Windows version, but there's a couple things. It's about 99% feature parity. But there's also some utilities that are built into it that I like too, especially on the go. The FTA client, it's got a couple issues, but it's a whole heck of a lot easier to just fire that up and interface with it, from my phone or wherever. Sitting in an airport, I'd say that was another one. I got to spend. I spent more time sitting in the airport in various locations between here and California that were not on my agenda. Um, and so I got an opportunity to do that remotely. Um, Not so much in phone out, phone, but just because the noise and the airport and everything. But I was able to at least do FT8 and keep myself occupied uh, during during that time. So I don't know if the people running behind me are coming through, but George says he loves the Bronco. He had a 78, 84, and 95, and he still has the 84. And I think the 84, is that a Gen 3, George? I know the 78, that's a Gen 2, and there's a whole collectors group of just Gen 2 Broncos. I've got some friends that have some Gen 2 Broncos and uh, really like them. I think one day when well, two things. Trying to find a Bronco or an old Jeep or something like that, at least the last time I looked at them, when you could find them, people were very proud of them, regardless of the condition they were in. Um, but yeah, finding an old one and being able to restore it. Funny story. Speaking of restoring Broncos. I'm going to Broncos Super Celebration a few years back, and they've had one for many years on the East Coast, Super Celebration East, and on the West Coast, Super Celebration West, and like the Jeep community, like the Jeep safaris and stuff like that. It's a big swap meet, hangout for the weekend kind of thing, and I think that the Super Celebration one's been going on probably since the '80s. Um, and it's sponsored by Bronco Driver magazine. Well, after the Gen ones came out, or I'm sorry, the Gen 6, which I have the latest version of it, there was a huge resurgence in popularity and in coming to the Super Celebrations. I think the first the the year the night in 2021, um, they had all those delays, and they had just gotten to um, get them out. I've got one of the first ones. They had some out, and then had to halt, not halt production, but halt delivery for while they were waiting for an issue with the hardtop to be repaired or fixed before they could continue. So they were still shipping soft tops, but not hard tops. Um, but 2022, I think probably 30% of the Broncos that showed up to this thing, where there was, I don't know, 7 or 8,000 Broncos there. Um, 30 of them were Gen 6s, and it's only growing every year. But they had started a new Bronco Super Celebration, Wisconsin, uh, up in the Dells, and I went, and I drive all the way up there, and there's some vendors and stuff setting up. You get there early, and I know this one group. They're out of California, and they're YouTuber, social media guy. So I go over to talk to Mitch, and there's another gentleman standing there, and he's got his Gen 1 Broncos, really beautiful, kind of a root beer color Bronco. And we're talking. I just happened to look over and notice that he's got an Indiana license plate on there. And so I asked him where he's from in Indiana. He says Martinsville. And that's the town I live in. I'm like, huh, I've never seen you there before. Well, as we narrowed it down, come to find out, he's like, I don't know, half a mile from my house, which made it even funnier. And I live out in the country, so it's like I wouldn't uh, every once in a while see this thing. But turns out he's a over the road truck driver, so he um, was home, and I think it'd probably been most of this summer. He's always gone, or on the weekends, and I was probably out doing POTA or something like that when he had the Bronco out. So, but it was interesting. I had to drive all the way up to Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, to meet my Bronco neighbor, which was kind of fun. Uh, so just looking over the chat here, any questions while we're here about POTA, or anything like that we can use? We are live right now on X, Facebook, Rumble, and I was not able to get Instagram to get it to go live. You've got to do some last minute hokey pokey stuff to get the live stream to go, and I wasn't able to do that in a thing. So we are on those four things. So if you guys are watching from one of those other platforms, you can jump over to the YouTube channel and get in the chat. I'm not sure if I think some of the chat is maybe from X, I think is one way, and maybe from Facebook, but um, so it's a one-way chat. So I'll see it in here. But if you have questions, jump in and put them in here, and we can do that. Otherwise, I'm going to probably bit because it's just me rambling. And who wants to see me rambling? I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you guys all do want to see me rambling. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's we're gonna watch Tim waffle here for a couple hours. It's like a train wreck TV all wrapped up. Just zipping through here. So oh hey, sorry, it's the other operator, Vaughn. Good morning. Good morning, Vaughn, and happy Father's Day to you. So real quick, speaking of Father's Day, um, go ahead and drop your Father's Day plans in the chat here. Uh, Dave says, I'm not a Ford guy, but I'd love to get a hold of a 69 Bronco. Yeah, I tell you what, those Gen 1 Broncos are are just awesome. And to take it a step further, I am a Ford guy and I'm all about the Bronco, but I appreciate the Jeeps, the older Jeeps, the Willys, um, the old Scouts. Speaking of Scout, um, Volkswagen owns the Scout label, and they teased it a few years back. I saw a video with I guess some working prototypes um, of the new Scout, which looked kind of interesting. I believe they're going to have a hybrid version and maybe an all electric version, which you know I don't know how much of an off road vehicle that's going to be. I know Jeep Jeep attempted a 4x4E, I think is what the model was, which was a all electric off road vehicle, and I don't I don't know how well it went. I I know some people probably bought it to say, hey, it's cool. I got a Jeep, and and they have they could say they can have a Jeep, and I don't know how much off roading they do. I have a feeling that most serious off roaders, I mean, having gasoline with you while you're out in the middle of nowhere is one thing. Trying to harness the sun while you're out in the middle of nowhere might be another. And are you gonna have enough solar panels to get some charge back in that thing? And that's kind of I think where the fear was, especially for any off core off roader. Um, Chris, yeah, but I don't know if you heard. Um, I wasn't able to set everything up to live stream it this morning, so um, I don't have anything uh, up on the air right now. So, but I can get on later if you want, and just ping me in the app. I'll if you've got some scouts or something, we can try to make a just ping me in the Discord app. Flying with batteries through TSA, even when 165-watt limit is challenging. Yeah, I have not had any problems flying. I've had the batteries inspected a couple times. Um, and honestly, the only place I've had them inspected is here in Indianapolis. Um, not not a big deal. They're getting a little bit better. I think they see me come through more than once. Um, and even though there's a lot of, but I have pre-check, TSA pre-check. Um, so when I fly with them, one guy, I was actually, it was the Denko, the 5.5 amp hour battery that I made online. I did a video of it, built a build. It was the kit version of it, and um, was it as nice and elegant as what Dennis would do? No, it wasn't. But it does look like a homemade battery. But I had the sticker on there, and that's all that really mattered. I was very adamant about making sure you don't discard that sticker, which talks about the contents and everything. And then of course they wipe it down and analyze it for whatever they explosives and such. So that was able to get through. Otherwise, not a big deal. Every airport I've flown through outside of Indianapolis, I have like a roller bag that I take with me, and I have like radio gear and stuff in, and so it's got wires and such. I got everything but the pokey bits. They won't let you fly on the plane with that. So I'll check those into my bag. And by pokey bits, I mean spikes. Um, oh, speaking of spikes, got something to say here in a minute. Um, but they'll typically won't have a problem. And all these other airports I've been in, that bag just goes right through without any questions. Indianapolis, they always stop that thing and they'll run it through a couple times, and I'm just like, guys, just take it and open up. Don't worry about it. I'm not fretting. Um, so they'll go down and do an inspection, and batteries are typically the only one that they'll stop and pay any attention to. This uh, last inspection in Indianapolis, um, the guy was a ham radio operator, so it wasn't a big deal. Once he saw it was in the bag, he's like, "Oh yeah, not a problem," kind of thing. So good stuff, good stuff. Uh, Pokey bits. So uh, I needed to take some. I wanted to take a couple wire antennas with me out there, and so I could either do horizontal, or vertical, or somewhere in between. Um, and I realized I didn't really have a way to stick a mast in the ground. I tried to plan accordingly in every activation, because you never know what you're going to run into. You could either have flat surface. You might be in a place where they don't let you put something in a tree, or they don't want you leaning things into a tree, or they don't want you poking things in the ground, or they don't want you to touch. I mean, you just try to plan for all contingencies. And when you're in an area that you can do reconnaissance, that's great. You can take what you need. But flying to the other side of the country and not having a local tour guide, we'll just call it a tour guide for the moment, um, not having that available, you want to plan for contingencies. And I kind of realized that I did not have a way to freestand, my POTA 20 mast. And so I reached out to a ham radio dude, Sean, who just lives over in the next state. I said, dude, because I went to his Etsy site, and he was out of stuff to make the little dude mast holder, little dude spike, I think is what he calls it. Dude spike, and or the affectionately referred to murder spike from K Murder. Um, so I reached out to him because it was sold out, and Sean was able to hook me up with some spare parts that he had. He was holding on spikes. He was had some problems getting spikes coming in to the tariffs or whatever was going on, and getting them in. So he was pretty much out of everything, and had not started back up on production. But I had some he had some parts that were not uh, something he would sell. They were uh, not damaged, but not they were flawed. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you what, guys. his nylon, I think it's nylon or ABS, that that guy can print some ABS. That stuff he was not up to his standard to sell to somebody out, as part of a kit, but um, I would not have complained, and I'm not complaining. So um, he got me those. I had to provide a spike, which was fine. I had spikes for one of my vertical antennas, and so I had that, and so I was able to put a dude spike together and um, have that available to fly with me. So with that, I had the ability to spike the mast, lean the mast up in a tree, or I had some of the orange doingy, whatever Mike calls them, but the long rubberized wire um, strips, so I can lean those. So I had that, and then I had the Pactena 2040 infed half wave, and it's got a split at the 20-meter point. It basically becomes linked out to 40. So I was able to support that. And then I also had the JPC 12 with me, um, vertical antenna. So I had the ability to spike it, lean it, clamp it, bop it, um, and had those options. So I had vertical, I had sloper, infed, and everything, and it was able to, like I said, make some contacts. So we did the two parks, and then my coworker that was with me wanted to go and see some of the ocean. So the last place we went to was Point Loma, which, if you're familiar with that, it's the west coast of the San Diego harbor, and it's a tall mountain. There's a lighthouse up there. There's the Point Loma Naval Station, which is where the submarines operate out of, and then there's a large monument up there. Um, so that we went over there and checked it out, and the I was going to set up, and I couldn't find an area where I could park and just set something up easily enough without disrupting a bunch of people. It was a very, very busy place up there. And oh, there's a national cemetery up there too. So kind of a nice place. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't find an area to easily set up and um, get get going um, to do that. Just went out and we did some sightseeing up there on top of Point Loma, and there's June gloom going on right now out there. If you're familiar with it, but it's usually overcast in the mornings, which is normal. That tends to burn off around late morning, early afternoon, and then usually a nice sunny afternoon. And so that wasn't happening. So later in the day, it was that, and then that was Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, late afternoon. By the time we got out there, but I had to get the rental car back, so we went ahead and took the car back, and then Ubered back to my hotel, which was just across the street from the convention center, and then went over there and started the conference. So busy from there. I did have my Meshtastic node with me. If you guys saw the um, thing, there were some other Meshtastic um, nodes there at the conference. Um, did some eyeball QSOs that way. There were some other amateur radio operators at the conference too, but not the same thing. So Um, not a big deal. Let's see it. Let's just go through it real quick. Um, oh, did I already get? Gosh darn it. Okay, already saw that one. Um, George says he's got his TJ too, and he enjoys straight six. I, I tell you, so there's definitely a difference between driving the Jeep and driving the Bronco. Jeeps are straight axle, which is benefits in where you need a lot of articulation. The Broncos are um, independent front suspension, so you don't get as much articulation in areas where you really need to like the Rubicon. We'll just although Broncos you do the Rubicon, but in general, I have not had at least around here. I haven't had problems with independent front suspension, and it sure rides a lot smoother. Um, yeah, like I said, the batteries I've really had no problems. So I take 5.5 amp hour batteries. I've got two of them, and that keeps me within the limit. Nobody's ever really questioned them. They're not too large. It's not like you're trying to take a 20 amp hour, um, and never had any problems. But I do recommend if you are going to try to fly, TSA has their own policy on the capacity of the batteries. Now they measure their batteries. They give the specs in watt hours. Um, but then also be careful. Your airline has their own policy. Most of them follow the TSA policy, but the carrier sometimes can be more restrictive than that. So always check your airline. Now that's applicable here in the United States. I'm not sure up in Canada what their equivalent of the FAA, and if I'm sure they have a security program like the TSA. Um, always check that, and then same thing outside of the United States. Check your local carriers and who you're flying with. Aaron says all four of his boys are coming over. They're going to be grilling wings, tater skins, beers, and watching a little sports. Aaron, man, you're close enough. I might just come down there. Sounds like that's going to be fun. Although I've got my oldest son. He's 24. He's coming down, and then I've got two younger boys at home. So three of us, and then my wife's parents live in town, so they're coming over. We're gonna have uh, some food and grill out and everything like that. Um, so yeah, sounds like yeah, it's problems. Watt hours, man. They that's what they know. But you know what? Keep flying with the batteries, and be that good ambassador. And the rules are on your side, and just help educate, and shouldn't be an issue. Don't travel with 25-inch whips, according to Josh. I can't speak to that. I haven't tried flying with a whip. I know he just recently went to Hawaii, and whips are his. Wow, that didn't sound good. I was going to say whips are his thing, but yeah. So I know he just flew there. My assumption is anything is questionable on whether or not you should be able to take it on board. Um, Pokey things, most definitely spikes, anything that they can deem could be used as a weapon. Um, Probably should go in your checked baggage, but in general, um, checked baggage, if you don't have access to it, is fine. So things like your large bottles of um, liquids that they don't allow, that would be one of them. Or spiky things like spikes for masts and antennas, or uh, maybe that 25-inch whip. So I would think that if it fits in your checked luggage, then you would probably be okay. But like I said, every airport, the TSA, uh, we'll just say they're a little bit different, right? In the sense that there are policies and regulations there, but then it's how they interpret it and enforce it's a little bit different. Um, just zipping through here. Good morning, Dane. Happy Father's Day. I think the next time I'll insert a large print note into my bag explaining I'm a radio operator. Well, so that's a good idea. That's one thing that has been mentioned in the past um, by several people. Put put a copy of your license in with your equipment. Um, it's a federal document. You can put the reference copy, or you can go and which is easily findable. If you just go to the ULS Universal Licensing System, and you can download a reference copy in PDF form and print it. If you want to get an actual copy without the reference watermark on it, you can go to your FRN account with the FCC, where that's where the back end where you make the changes to your address and stuff like that, and apply for other licenses. If you have a GMRS license, or uh, some form of a radio, telephone, general radio, telephone, whatever the heck it is, license, you can do that there from that FRN number. But you can also download original copies of your licenses from there. So you just print a copy of that and put it with your equipment. I personally do not check my radio equipment um, in the belly of the plane, just because I want to be able to manage the manhandling of the equipment. So I keep it all with me, but yes, um, that's a good idea to have. And then label as much as possible in clear bags. That's another thing. I mean, everything that flies is subject to inspection. I actually use canvas bags, and something like this. Um, Although this one's pink, and I like it. Uh, Makes it easier to find. I try to keep all my stuff in these things. I've had several different sizes. I got some a little bit larger ones, and actually ones with a label that I can write on. But I keep those, and I keep my stuff in them. Makes it easier. Dave up in Temecula says no June gloom today. It's going to be hot. Well, I love Dave. I tell you what, I noticed out east, and when you got right away from the coast and got up in the hills there, it was nice and sunny. But we went in one day, and just on different sides of the county, went from 90-ish degrees to and sunny to 60. I think it was like 63 or 65 degrees there at the coast. But Temecula is just a little bit further north. It's kind of in between San Diego and Los Angeles inland, just a little bit. So James says Facebook was freezing. Yeah, I push it up to restream as a single stream, and then they take it from there. But welcome to YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below. And I think up in the corner somewhere is a QR code. If you scan that, that'll take you to my uh, started had a senior moment there. The gray's coming through. It'll take you to my website, which will link you out to all my social media and stuff like that. And there's links to. I've got some discount codes and stuff set up with vendors, including that spool antenna. And I'll tell you what, that's one that I definitely like. I did not take that to California with me because it's a 40 meter only, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to run the full 60 some feet out. So I did not take that, but hopefully in the next week or two, I'll be running that here on the live stream, on the Sunday morning live stream. Um, oh yeah, between San Diego and Riverside. So yeah. Um, oh, that's where Dave used to live out in that area. But yeah, good stuff. Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and jet. I think oh gosh, I've already run into to Ham Church here, so uh, don't want to get wrong with the Ham Lord. But make sure you guys jump over to if they're streaming, jump over to Big Jim's and Tio's Sunday morning Ham Church. I'd put a link in, but I don't have a way to do that here on the phone version of this. Thank you for watching me jibber jabber for the last 45 minutes. And hopefully, like I said, next week we will be back up in full streaming mode, and hopefully getting outdoors and out of the vehicle. I could have done it today to do that, but other problems persisted. So until we guys, thank you for joining us. Until we get an opportunity to see each other again on the air. Uh, have a great day and a great Father's Day in 73.